ladies and gentlemen of the internets. As you can see by the moving street lights, it is still very windy in Maine. Not as windy as it was yesterday, thankfully. But it is walking day. I didn't walk yesterday because of the weather. The sun's out today. It's nice. I get my sunshine. So thank you for joining me if you decided to watch while I walk. Excuse me. So I'm taking a route that I walked once before, but I went in the other direction. So we're going to go in the other direction. Mainly because I have to stop at a bank, which I'm not going to record. But as we look out on the field of pussy willows, these look kind of poofy. I'm going to see how poofy these are. Why do I want to see poofy pussy willows? Nope. These are all dried up. They're not all poofy. I'm going to come pick these when they're ready to shed their seeds. And you hit those. I want to pluck a bunch for us to shoot, actually, with 22 rifles. Because you would actually see them impact at 100 yards. We want to pluck a bunch of those pussy willows, put them out at the range, and distribute pussy willow seeds. So today is 40 degrees. It's windy. It's not freezing cold by any means, but it's not a nice, beautiful spring day either. But because the sun's out, it's nice to walk in. So the last couple of walks I took, I noticed I'm getting my full stamina back. That I didn't really lose over the winter, but was not maintained. Looks like that project is... I'm not sure if they're still working on that or not. Doesn't look like it. They have the grass thrown out there. So, get a log here for a pole. Don't know what they're doing. Don't know what they're doing. So anyways. Oh, I can see a bunch of kids out at recess up ahead. So I was just watching some of the House GOP live coverage of testimony from Mr. Hur, the special prosecutor that declined to charge Joe Biden with any offenses handling classified documents. You'll see all the highlights from that. Democrats pretty much spent the whole day saying Biden was mentally fit, because we all saw it for ourselves at the State of the Union. So they tried to make her look like he didn't know what he was talking about, and they failed to do that. And also, they spent the rest of the time showing clips of Trump misspeaking, trying to say that it's the same thing. It was 3 or 4 Republicans, 3 or 4 of them, that said Neither one of these people should have been charged, Trump or Biden. I just want to see equality under the law. Justice with the blindfold. Nothing matters but the rule of law. And it's clearly obvious somebody's being charged and someone isn't. That's funny. Little poodle dogs barking at me. I mean, they're poodles, okay? They don't look very menacing. A Doberman barks at you, that's different, but a little poodle dog and a bigger poodle dog, not very threatening. So do yourself a favor and go check out the highlights from the testimony today. Not the edited propaganda ones you find on social media. But go on YouTube and find the actual broadcast with no BS and just watch yourself. So anyways, spring is trying to spring. And it's springing early. My Brownfield Deer Pantry live deer cam that I like to watch sometimes has ended until next year, a month early, because there's no snow cover. They can go around and forage for acorns and everything, so they got food to eat. So, anyways, so walking update. The other night it was calm, there was no wind. It was the night before yesterday I didn't walk, so I went out and I walked 6 miles at night. It was about 42 degrees. It was nice and calm, no wind. It actually felt warmer than it does now. And the reason why I bring that up is I finally gauged out the night settings on the GoPro here that I want, so I'm pretty confidently can walk at night. Now in the daytime, the sensors it runs senses everything in the daylight, and you have that boost, and what the boost does is it levels everything and stops everything from shaking. Oh, excuse me, I didn't mean to sneeze on all of you. Got a piece of dust or something. So anyway, the point being is on the nighttime setting, I liked the picture quality best on linear, which is widescreen without the fisheye. With fisheye, it was too bouncy. On the linear setting, I had the stabilizing on. I didn't have it on auto, and I didn't have it on high. I had it on just on, and it seemed to be a happy compromise. It was watchable after, I guess is my point. And then the shutter speed When I put it on auto and you'd have like street lights on, it looked half decent. But then as soon as you looked off to the side and there wasn't as much lighting, it got dark, like you can't see anything at all. So that didn't work. So what I did was I took it off auto and I selected 30 frames per second, which is a slower shutter speed, allows more light to come in. But the adverse reaction to that is it blurs a little bit on fast movements, which coincides with walking up and down and not having the picture completely stable. So anything that's a point of light has a little bit of flux in it. So I found a happy medium that's tolerable, and I also chose the ISO maximum to be 800 instead of 400. 400 was a little too dark. 800 was just right. And anything above 800, it was too much light and too much streaking and stuff. So basically, just for walking like I am now, I found a happy medium that works. So I will be able to do some night recording. That will be watchable. Albeit once in a while I'll be in a section and it'll be too dark. Now the other thing I noticed, just from reading local news, is I'm seeing a lot more reports on, say somebody lost their soccer ball on a windy day like today, probably blew there from somewhere over here. That's what it looks like. I think I'll do the kid a favor. I'll pick up the kid's ball and I'll return it. There we go. My good deed for the day. So we're gonna go up here. It's not the way I want to go. It's a dead end. I want to go this way. That's right. I only live in this neighborhood. I should know where the hell I'm going. Well, it looks like some people cleaned up some brush. I'll be doing that shortly on the property. I clean up that crap every year, so it's about that time. I'm waiting to see if all the spring storms are over with wind, because every time the wind blows, you get branches. Every year I don't do it until like the first week of May. Today is mid-March. There's no snow. I still think we've got a snowstorm coming. It's not spring yet. Don't get too comfortable, folks. Perfect example, I was reading today in Colorado, in the Rockies, they're going to get a snowstorm tonight for a couple days. They're going to get 3 feet of snow. It's predicted 3 feet of snow. That's like Donner Pass snow, okay? So, anyways, oh, that's a nice shot. Nice shot of the flag with the sun. Pretty cool. That might end up being a wallpaper picture. Oh my goodness. It's a little chilly today. The nose is running. We still got all this mess from the storm here, pine needles and pine cones. This will all get cleaned up soon as everybody's sure that spring is here. Maine is the pine tree state, and pine trees are a dirty business. When it gets 95 degrees in the summer, it sprays sap all over your car. You have to clean your car by hand with bug and tar remover, which is safe for paint jobs. And then just looking down here, you can see all the damage from the storms we've had this winter. These trees laying down. It's pretty nasty. Alright, let's walk up this way. At the end of this road is a bank. I'm gonna stop at the bank. Make a small deposit. Right now I feel warm when the wind stops. Too warm. There's definitely that in-between, the in-between temperatures. Somebody's doing some roofing.
I told him about an hour and he can send Joey over to get the check.
Said in about an hour they're gonna send Joey over to get the check. It's about all checks are good for these days. Paying people doing contract work, or somebody fixing your furnace or what have you. Anytime anybody's been to the house fixing the furnace or something, it's always been a check. They get a check. So this isn't a bad neighborhood to walk in. It really isn't. I'm gonna have my hill over here. There's a hill coming up to this, and there's a hill going down on my route today. So I'll take this hill first. Somebody working on a truck. Looks like that might have had an accident or something. So in Maine, if you have your own property you need a vehicle on, you don't have to get an inspection sticker on it. Not sure about registration. If you did have to register it, it would be pretty cheap because you're not putting any miles on it if it's just on your property, right? Hello, how are you, sir?
Good, yourself?
Not too bad.
Beautiful day like today.
Gotta get my miles in. Yep, it is a beautiful day today. Gotta get my miles in. We got us a hill here. Ooh, soft and mushy. And the ground is soft and mushy. Smooshy. Oh, somebody driving normal. How unusual. It's kind of hard to describe how that feels, but having been doing a serious uptick in the amount of walks and distances, or more importantly, the strenuous effort in the walks, maintaining about a 17-minute average per mile walking. My heart muscle feels the exercise I did a couple days ago, and it's a good one. It's not bad. It's something you notice when you play ice hockey often enough. When I first started walking, a hill like this I'd have to stop on, not to catch my breath, but my legs would be burning or what have you. Right now this isn't bad at all. My body is in tune. All right. Stop at my bank up ahead. I'll stop recording. I'm sure they'll look at me funny because I got a camera on my head. But I keep a walking vlog, a video log. An almost daily walking vlog. Almost daily. I don't upload every walk. I did find some software that works pretty quickly with a good picture quality output codec. Been pretty happy with the picture quality. None of my videos on YouTube are as good a picture quality as what the GoPro records, though. I should add that. It might look good on your TV, on your screen, but once in a while you will see blocking or pixelation in certain lighting. That's just the YouTube. That's just YouTube. I would have to seriously upgrade everything to 4K. So that would be 4K SD cards. I'll give you an idea. You know, I got a Apple MacBook Pro I've had since 2015. It's got 250 gigabyte hard drive. Today that's not enough for anything. 9 years ago it was. So there's the difference with that. Each 11-minute segment, 11 minutes and 40 seconds about, 11:38 of my hour and 40 minutes is about 4 gigabytes. So every walk is somewhere around 60 gigabytes, 50 to 60, generally speaking. And then when you put it in software editing, it makes a data copy. So it doubles that to about 120 gigabytes until you rip your video and delete something afterwards. So I've been using external hard drives as storage, thumb drives. The laptop I've been doing editing on lately is kind of a slow processor, but not too bad if nothing else is running on it. And it's a 1 terabyte hard drive, which is almost full. So that's 1,000 gigabytes. That's still not enough. So I'm constantly taking files off it for safekeeping on thumb drives and whatnot to make room for my walks. Now, imagine if I had to do 4K. That's double or quadruple that disk space. That is some serious hardware. So that would be replacing or getting a multi-terabyte external hard drive to plug into the USB and use that instead of the hard drive, which could be done. So I'll make do. All right, I'm going to be heading into my bank, so I'm going to stop recording and I'll start when I get out. See you in a couple minutes. Bye-byes. All right. I think I got that squared away finally. All right, now I got to get across the road without getting killed. This time of day, it might be a chore. Let's see what the hell happens. There we go. I made it. I made it. I'm gonna go across here. All right. Well, it looks like I found myself another hill. Remember that. I'll have a hill coming up. Still got a little bit of ice on the side of the road. It's right in between. Right in betwixt. Watch for cars coming around this corner. Not my favorite route with regard to walking safely, but I do like the scenery. If the ground wasn't soft, I'd just walk on that off to the side here, but it's all squishy. All right. I just hit 2 miles at 39 minutes. So I wasted 5 minutes at the house before leaving. And I just wasted another 5 minutes at the bank. So I'm actually closer to my 17 or 15, 16 minutes per mile. Of course, I have no evidence of that, just my say-so. I'm not making excuses. That's what happened. Oh, I really do feel good. I would recommend that if you do go out and start walking, or if you are walking, to try to pick up the pace every time, just to the point where you can physically know if you're okay or not. But I am noticing feeling really good and strong. I don't know if I'll feel like that when I get to the top of this hill. Maybe spoke too soon. Wish there was a sidewalk here, or ground that isn't mushy, smooshy. I'm actually going to walk in the water here a little bit, because there's no ice and I don't want to get killed. So that night I went walking. I was walking on the other side of the street, on Sabata Street, on the sidewalk. I was on a sidewalk, and two pickup trucks went by honking at me and beeping. So I don't know what that was all about. I was wearing a black hoodie and my camo cargo pants, so I don't know why that would cause a fracas. We'll move this branch out of the road from the storm. One thing I have noticed, that these hills are steeper in person than driving up them. And they're steeper hills when you're walking. But after I get up this hill, I'll have an easy coast on the way back, for the most part. All right, we got a car coming here. I gotta watch, make sure they see me. And they do. Another one behind it. I'll head over in the driveway here just in case. Head on a swivel, folks. Hate to have to watch around you all the time for everything, everywhere you go. Either get hit by a car, somebody trying to rob you, So what I was alluding to earlier in my walk, before I found that soccer ball, was I noticed a lot of local news lately, they've been having security footage. It's not unusual in itself, but this was for the shooting that happened this past weekend. They arrested a 14-year-old kid in Lewiston shot several rounds, I guess. Don't know what he was shooting at. But they found out who he was and apprehended him through surveillance footage at 101 Pierce Street. Now, if you're familiar with that neighborhood, it's rough. We grew up down there. Everybody used to leave their doors unlocked. Poiriers Market, which I noticed on Google Maps, Poiriers Market was still called Poiriers Market in 2019. I don't know if it's still the same name now. But surveillance footage. I'm thinking, how would they have surveillance footage at 101 Pierce Street? It's in the middle of the block, so it has to be on a pole. Now, I've noticed a couple of newer aluminum arms on telephone poles on my street that someone I know suspects that it's a system for the fire department to turn the traffic lights on or off, but that's been doing that for years now on its own, and those weren't there, so it's either a new system to do that or these little round balls on there. There's two of them on each side of the road, so they're right side by each. They're the same color as the tinted ones that are used at the Capitol that I saw in person, that they actually installed because we were protesting. They put those up there for 1 week. We had our protest, and then the next time we went and protested, they were gone. So, very peculiar behavior like that. And that was found out because somebody posted photos online of the flatbed of a pickup truck. Somebody was standing in the flatbed of the pickup installing those cameras outside the Capitol. And it looked kind of odd because you'd figure it'd be a contracting vehicle or something. Nope. Looked like a regular old pickup installing cameras. So, don't know what they were doing with those. I don't know if they were using facial identification into a database just to get people that showed up at the protest. It's all I can think of, because there's really no other reason to do it and then take them out. Be one thing if they said, okay, well, I guess we need cameras here. Don't know if anything bad will happen. So that's fact. That's what they did. There's really no reason to install those and then uninstall them 2 weeks later. Well, I don't know when they uninstalled them. We had another rally 2 weeks later and they weren't there. So they went from not being there to being there to not being there. So they specifically were doing something. Maybe they were testing new equipment and it didn't work out, so they took it out. But they already had security cameras up, so that's the thing. They already have security cameras there. This was something new and different. So anyway, those they got two of these little black balls on each side of our street, facing in different directions, one would assume. I can't see the need for having four little black balls to control the traffic lights for the fire department when they were already able to do that by radio control from the emergency vehicle. So that does not make sense to me. Those are something else. I think they have installed surveillance cameras around town on the busiest streets, which would be helpful given what happened with the mass shooting and nobody knew where he was or where he went. these might be new changes that were made in response to that. I could research that further, but I know my rationale is pretty sound, that they more than likely are surveillance traffic cameras for official use only, because I cannot find any traffic cameras on the internet made public. Like the ones on the Maine Turnpike here and there, you can bring those up and watch those. It's open to the public as a public service. So I might actually call the city administrator and ask her, what the hell are those? So that's all just theories. If you find out what they are, leave a comment. Let me know. I want to know. All right. I think this will be the last hill. There'll be a mild incline over this one. This is the hilly route. This is the walk 5 miles, it feels like 6 route. Very interesting to stop and think about things. Whew. Whew, yeah. I got my blood flowing. So I'm happy to say my mall video is doing well on YouTube. It's gotten a few likes, a few comments. Other people around the country, Massachusetts, North Carolina, things like that, where they either still have a mall or they miss their mall. One person commented on how their dad owned an arcade in a mall, and the other kids thought he was a king, and I can imagine. I thought that was cool. That was in Massachusetts. I think he said Amesbury or something like that. So anyway, this ground's a little firmer. Firma. Terra firma. I don't want no void terra firma. So anyways, we are being watched. So chances are, while I'm walking on Sabata Street, I'm being watched. And you're being watched. So now I'm making it a habit of looking up on poles while I walk. And we have these little dark things on top of the street lights, but that's probably the sensor for them. Maybe solar charging, combination of both, being more economical. Cameras, you can tell because they're always round and they're tinted. The face of the cameras are always round and tinted. They look like a ball. And they'll have a cable coming from them. And the ones by our house has a cable. And I do know those were newly installed. Probably within the last 3 or 4 months. That I know. For sure. Now that black thing up there is a thing for the power line, because the top line on these poles is the power cables. They're usually uncovered, uninsulated, as is the one underneath it. That's why when you see those fools climb the pole, they'll go up there and they'll touch the bottom line and the top one, completing the circuit. And they get frizzle-frazzled. Or if you touch the positive and then you touch a ground, it's not good either. So I got 3 miles in 52 minutes. Minus my 10 minutes that are just extra. Because while I turned the camera off and I went into the bank, I did not turn off my walking app. So standing in line is not walking, but it's adding time to my walk, if you know what I'm saying. Look at all the brush everywhere. Tree branches, brush. Everybody's cutting brush. We got away with that pretty lucky where we are. I mean, I have some willow tree parts that I'm gonna burn up in a fire as soon as we get a day that's not windy. Kind of funny is you always get in the mood to burn stuff when it's windy for some reason. I don't know if that's a psychological thing, but I really try to resist that because everything's dry right now despite all the rain we've had. Like that field of pussy willows that I walked in earlier when we started this walk. Those were all of that grass there was dead and dry. I knew right away that that's the first thing I thought of. I said, boy, this would go up really quick. So that's the kind of thing I don't want to be responsible for. A hot ember from our place blows over there, and then everybody's neighborhood's on fire because I couldn't wait until it wasn't windy, like a dumbass. So don't be a dumbass. Burn stuff on your property when it's not windy, and have a proper garden hose with a long enough length like we use. And also prep what you're going to burn in. You know, 50-gallon drum we have collects water. I think I'm going to punch a couple holes in the bottom of that actually. Put an end to that problem, because the bottom fills up with water and then you throw trash on top. So you either have to empty all the trash out and dump the water and then put the trash back in so it burns properly, or you put stuff in there and you just stand there going, I can't get it going, it won't get going. It's because there's water in the bottom. It's got vent holes in the bottom, but it needs holes punched directly in the bottom, just for draining. Doesn't need a big hole. A little doggy is doing what doggies do. Well, the dog's barking, but his tail's wagging. So that is a bark to let you know he's there and not to bother them. But that's not an angry bark. Ooh, still breezy. See, like I'm all sweaty, and when the wind blows like that, it starts to be a little too cool. It's a nice day for a walk, though. mid-July. It's 90 degrees, probably be begging for a day like today. Ooh. Wicked breeze, wicked. So I am going to swing over onto Sabata Street, and I'm going to take a look-see, see if those are cameras. I gots to know. We'll take a better look. So I'll just take a look on some of these poles here once in a while. Much better here with the breakdown lane. It's not a sidewalk, but it's a sidewalk. Ooh, these trees are swaying. Other people walking. Some baggy capri pants blowing around in the wind. Big wind in those trees. Hang on. We're gonna get hit with the wind. The leaves are going crazy. That's the best rake right there if you own that property. Just let the wind blow everything off. I got my eyes all squinted so I don't get sand in them. I may have anyways. Oh yeah. I got hit with the wind breeze. All right. approaching 4 miles. So that was nice. My older brother shared some photos with me of Paul Harrell at a speaking engagement that he did, a gathering for people into guns. And he looks very thin. He's using crutches still and a cane, so he's watching with crutches and a cane. So he's got a crutch under one side and a cane with the other. So there's something going on with that. Pancreatic cancer. Looked like he was in about his best spirits as he could be, given the circumstances. So it was nice to see new updated photos. All right, I see a CMP truck up ahead with a bucket loader. Must have been a problem up that way. They got cones in the road. So I'd have to check my power company app. They have a pretty good outage map on there. Pretty much in real time. Of course, that's only CMP customers and only if they report their outage. But they are doing something. But where the bucket is, it looks like they're working on a traffic light, actually. That'd be my guess. He's got his bucket right over the center of the road. Would stand to reason. Oops. Still don't see any traffic cameras over here or anything that resembles them. I'll know more when I get on. Right here, there's an antenna sticking out of that. Don't know what that is. It might just be a placeholder to plug a cable in, because there's something similar to it on top that's plugged into the cable. Probably just for communications, internet stuff. Nothing important. Run into a lot of things on the side of the road when you're walking. I've seen everything from unused condoms to used condoms. I've seen bras, I've seen sex toys. Found a sex toy sitting on a snowbank on one walk. I won't describe what it was, but pretty weird. I found live unfired ammunition. More than one round. It's always 9mm, nickel-plated casing. The good stuff, Sig Sauer Elite or something like that. I believe that's what it said on the bottom. Sig Sauer 9mm Luger, which is what I use in my pistola, one of them, for defense. 115 grain is good for self-defense because it's a lighter round, a little higher velocity. Seems to be just the perfect measure of not getting over penetration and enough muzzle speed out of a handgun to properly flower as it hits, as I call it. Good expansion. From testing I've seen online, 124 grain can be okay if you're using a 5-inch barrel. Anything less than that, I'd do 115. 147 grain slows the projectile down enough. It does have a pretty good foot-pounds impact, but they don't expand as much, and you get more penetration than you do with the 9 that weighs a lot less. So I use 115 grain 9mm. Pretty good stuff. You can either use a lot of people like the Winchester Defense. It's pretty good. I like the Sig Sauer Elite. There's a lot of different brands. I like the Sig Sauer one because you can get them for about $1 a round. It's more economical. 20 bucks for a box of 20, basically. And they work well. More importantly, they feed in my firearm well without any problems. Good quality hollow points. Bonded jackets too. So you get those really nice, pretty looking mushrooms when you dig one out after shooting through a water jug. So, and for the 40, I carry the Spear, law enforcement ones, hollow points, gold dots. The gold dots are really excellent. They really expand, and in the middle of the mushroom you get a gold dot. That's where they get their name. Bonded jacket. Very good quality, accurate, great expansion, and you don't get that over penetration. And I believe I'm using 180 grain. It's either 180 or 185, I forget now. I think whatever the most common 40 is, I think it's 180. Woo. I only have one firearm that shoots 40, so I don't buy a lot of ammo for that. But it is what I'm carrying right now. Hopefully I won't have to use it. It's really the big thing about carrying is you don't want to use it. So let's see what we got on telephone poles here. So there we are on top of that pole. There's 2 of those little things on that aluminum thing that comes out. Those are friggin' cameras. And I know they got the fire department traffic things on there, but those were on there before. Those traffic things for the fire department and emergency vehicles worked before those were installed. I'd like to get a good close-up look. Maybe with my cell phone camera, and I'll look up at him and zoom and play peekaboo. We'll play peekaboo with whoever's on the other end. contractors. Toro, ándale, ándale, arriba. So with regard to the traffic cameras, I've been known to be wrong before. Being right or wrong isn't really my goal here. I just want to know what they are. What the hell are they doing there? They were not there before. And I know that because I've looked out the window at the house, looked down the road with a scope to see how clear the scope was or whatever, and you put it on things to look while not attached to the rifle, of course. That would be crazy. But just holding the scope out of the box in your hand to see what you get for a vista. Those two arms were not on the telephone poles, and now they are. So it's either a new system for the emergency vehicles, or it's a combination of both. New system for the vehicles with a camera in it, because you can put these little electronic cameras at the end of a friggin' ballpoint pen, you know. I'm not seeing anything on any other of these poles. Dadgummer. Ooh, windy. Coming up on 4.5 miles. Ooh, good Lord. It wasn't like this a few minutes ago. Well, I'm going to take this opportunity to end the walk for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, if you are in fact watching. Thank you for being nice guests. Might stop in here and get a pizza. Have a nice day, everybody. Be nice to one another and be happy, be merry, and make sure you vote. Bye-bye.